And now, another episode of MMA Gossip with your boys.
Boom. We're live, baby. MMA Gossip, episode number 48. We'll be talking UFC 257, UFC Fight Island 8, the whole fucking nine. A bunch of boxing matches that are going on have been announced. Major boxing matches. Canelo Alvarez, Adrian Broner, among others. What's going on with Sergey Kovalev? But really, none of you give a fuck because Conor McGregor is fighting this week. So we will definitely be talking about that. Definitely talking about the co-main Hooker and fucking Chandler. That's going to be a banger. We got Hapgrass taking on Sukarian on the ESPN prelim main event, which is going to be another fucking banger. Sick card. So we got a lot to talk about. The world of MMA never fucking stops. We just did an episode 2 days ago. We got another one now, another one on Tuesday, and the train keeps fucking rolling. So the usual. Drop us a like if you like what we're doing. Leave us a comment, subscribe, all of the above, because our videos have been consistently getting views, and we appreciate that. So if you like them, hit the like button. Show us that you like them.
Chris, what's good? What's good with Broner? That's a name I haven't heard in years.
He's going in and out of depression and whatnot. He's been doing that for years. At one point in time, like 2 years, no more than that, probably like 3 years ago, he put up a black Instagram post and was like, "Love you guys. I'm gonna kill myself. This is the end." Blah blah blah. And then like 30 minutes later, posted a picture of a loaded gun in his hand, and then went silent, deleted his Instagram, and then his wife and everything. It was a whole mess. But he's back. Supposedly, he's been talking about all that and more. He's had a rough stint as of lately. He beat Adrian Granados, and then after that, it was like Manny Pacquiao and just couple losses together. He's supposed to be the next Floyd Mayweather and just had a huge fall from grace. So we'll get into all that. He's got a fight booked February 13th. I still don't think there's an opponent yet, but he'll be fighting on the 13th. And I know his boy Robert Easter Jr., who's a legit boxer, will also be fighting on that card as well. So big card. But at MMA X Gossip on all socials, drop us a fucking follow there and join the ride.
All right, cool. So I got a few talking points, about 6 of them, but they all involve the co-main and the main event. So I figured when we get to those fights, we'll talk about them then. But first, let's talk about Chiesa's awesome domination of Magny. Did not see it coming. I picked Magny to win, but I just didn't see it. I thought the first 2 rounds would definitely be Chiesa's with the takedowns, but I thought he would kind of tire out after that. But 170 is Chiesa's weight class, man. Magny was just too much for him. Mad props, incredible bout. It was just like, damn, where does Chiesa go from here? What do you guys think?
I think he sucks.
I knew you were gonna say that.
He's
I'm
fucking
so
good.
hard on people. I'm so hard on people. He was dominant and all, but I said to Chris yesterday when we FaceTime like right at the end of the fight, I just would have liked to see a little bit more offense. And it's such a shitty statement of me because actually no, because Charles Oliveira should have finished that fight. Because I look at that fight because you want to talk about like just pure domination without actually doing any damage. That's what Michael Chiesa did. Like his transitions are incredible. But you could just watch that fight, and if you take it at face value, yeah, he was awesome. And then I look at the rest of the division, I said, that Colby Covington fight, like if that comes to fruition, I think he's going to regret that call out because his stand-up is shit. It's really fucking bad. He clearly doesn't like to get hit at all. I think his gas tank is still stinky. And if he can't get the fight to the ground and literally do exactly what he did to Magny, I just think he's a limited fighter, man. Like, and as controlling as he was, he didn't even come remotely close to having any submission attempt, like at any point in the whole fight, not once. And it's just like, dude, you got to beat a lot better guys than fucking Neil Magny. Like, you have a whole division you want to go through. And if you expect to beat Colby Covington in that fashion, you have another thing coming. But I don't want to take any props away from him. He's in the light right now. He's big, running high off of his biggest win, arguably. Like, good for him, man. But just big picture wise, to me, as the division as a whole, it doesn't do anything to me because I don't ever see him competing for a title.
Take a guess who Matt bet on.
I did have the over though.
I'm with you. I think that I'm with you in the fact that, mad props to Chiesa, his scrambling is good. And also the fact that his striking is still subpar, but definitely getting better. I tweeted, I do not know how the fuck he ever made 155. He is so big at 170. It's like, I can't like. I feel like he wasted time at 155, honestly. But he did, amazing on the Ultimate Fighter. So more props to him. With that being said, I'm just looking at. I have the rankings pulled up right here. Chiesa was 8 and Magny was 9. So number 8 and number 9 fight, top 10 in the division. Respect to them because they could have been like, no, I'm holding out, trying to hold this spot. Blah blah blah. And Michael Chiesa coming off of a win over RDA, who literally just fought Colby Covington recently for the interim belt. You know what I mean? That wasn't too long ago. So RDA is at the top of the division, literally. And Chiesa dominated him, comes in, dominates number 9. He didn't put him away, but I don't think the fight was ever fucking close. You know what I mean? Chiesa was just one step ahead. And the best way, I always say, and this isn't directed at you, Matt, but if you, Neil Magny, whoever doesn't like what you're doing, fucking stop it. And he clearly couldn't stop what Chiesa was doing. So he implemented.
Neil Magny actually helped him. His fucking retard. Every time he had a chance to literally do anything else besides grapple, what did he do? Grapple. Dude. Does anybody in your corner not have a clue? Hey, Magny, get off the fence. Instead, every time he turned position around, if I'm him, I am framing and getting off of the fence because you couldn't stop the takedown. And how many times did Magny actually take him down and get swept immediately? Like how many? It reminds me of the what's it called fight. Who's that asshole's name that threw his head into 3,000 guillotines before he finally got finished?
Oh, well, in Bellator, Darian Caldwell does that.
No, I'm saying this was a fight this past year. Mike, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was the guy the hype train that keeps losing.
Yeah.
Oh, the devil, what's his name?
He got knocked out by a jab by Emmett Smith.
Yes. Yeah, him. You know exactly who I'm talking about. But that's what I look at.
Josh Emmett. Sorry, Josh Emmett.
That's what I look at that fight. It's like, dude, how many times you could do the same thing before you realize you're not as good of a grappler as him? You stop trying to take him down. Stop exchanging with him here because every time you got your distance, and especially in the later rounds, he clearly didn't like being there. Why?
I'm thinking of someone. I'm thinking of what's his name, the big prospect. I'm having a brain fart here. That lost to your boy to Poirier, but went through the full fight.
You know exactly who I'm going to say. It's the guy that fucking what's his name, dude? Bektic, yes, Bektic.
You're thinking of Zalal, Chris Yusuf?
Yeah, Yusuf Zalal. Yeah. What's his nickname? Like the Moroccan Devil, right?
Yeah.
So he does the same thing. He's really susceptible.
He was saying
anyway, looking forward in the division, bro. Chiesa's 8, 7 is Damian Maia. Who knows what the fuck is going on with Damian Maia? Then you have Woodley. Who knows what the fuck is going on with Woodley?
Retire Woodley.
5, Yeah, no. Then at 5 is Wonderboy. I think that Chiesa could definitely beat Wonderboy, but I definitely think Wonderboy could beat Chiesa. Then there's Masvidal, Leon Edwards, Gilbert Burns, Colby, and Kamaru. I did like that, even though he called out Colby, I don't think he's getting that fight. He mentioned the Edwards and Chimaev fight, which is definitely possible, especially if Leon won. They don't want to give him that push. I could totally see them giving that to Chiesa. But
I would like to see him fight Wonderboy. I think that'd be a good fight.
That's a classic grappler versus striker matchup. That's what you
test him to see if he could get inside Wonderboy's range.
Yeah, man.
Who's like the best at range is Wonderboy, like phenomenal. So just want to give a couple quick shout outs to the winners on this card. Mike Davis had a phenomenal fight with Mason Jones. That was ridiculous. He deserved that 50 G's. Shout out to
Umar got it too, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think Umar got it as well. Shout out to Lerone Murphy. That was not an easy fight, but he clearly won that. Kid's on the up and up. Ricky Simone, domination. Amari, Tom Breeze. I don't know what's going on with you, bro. Awful fight IQ. Bad decisions in that fight. Matt Schnell, I'm pumped. I backed him. Good for him. He deserved that win. Rajo is on the rise. Worley Alves with the upset. Munir, what the fuck?
Next time, just somebody let him know he's fighting next time, please.
Right. And that's it. I mean, great card. Awesome Wednesday morning. And on to the next card. We got UFC 257. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 2. We were discussing
like, what the fuck? Like, you have no pulse. You know what I mean? This is all that's going on ESPN, on any fucking sports network. Every alert, like random fucking, and it's Conor McGregor's fighting because random fucking people that I never talk to or message me on Instagram or texting me, is he really going to win? Should I bet the over the under? It's like, dude, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's really crazy. The McGregor effect is live and fucking real.
Yeah. So we got a 12 fight card, 12 fights on this card. A couple of them maybe not worth mentioning. Albazi and Zumagulov, we could care less. Nick Lentz, RIP, your heart's going to get ripped out. And then you got Andrew Sanchez versus Mahmoud Muradov. Not really excited about this. Khalil Roundtree, which one's going to show up? Marcin
I hope
Shkreli.
the legit
Isn't that
Khalil-
always a story with him? I'm such a Roundtree fan though, especially like after hearing him on Rogan and just like seeing how much of like a fucking genuine guy he is. Like I always root for him, but a different Roundtree always shows up.
I
Him
know.
and Andrew Sanchez are actually like super duper close friends. Like I don't know if you guys watched that season when they were both on The Ultimate Fighter.
Chris, you know where I watched the final for that Ultimate Fighter?
Where?
We were. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you were with me, but I watched it at inside at Keenan's.
That's funny. I was definitely watching it somewhere, but yeah, I just thought it was fun. A little fun. They're really, 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 really good friends. Known each other for a really long time, and they're still both doing the damn thing. So good for both of those guys. I hope the real legit Thai boxing Khalil Roundtree comes in there and fucking shows out. That would be a sight to see. And he's got a big opportunity here on the McGregor card to showcase himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because Prachnow's been knocked out in his last 3 UFC bouts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
What's the line on him?
minus 335.
For Khalil.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You got 40-year-old Sarah McMahon taking on Juliana, gets choked out by a striker, Pena. Nothing really here.
That's her MO now, dude. She was like, chomping at the bit to fight Rousey. And then ever since, it's just been downhill for Juliana Pena, unfortunately. So.
All right. And we got Shoeface is back and Brad Tavares is back. This was a close fight, closely lined fight. For whatever reason, I'm actually really interested in this fight. I'm taking ACJ here. I think he's going to submit Tavares. I just think Tavares is super meat and potatoes. And I don't know. I think specialists like ACJ, he gasses, but I don't know. I can see him banking 2 rounds or getting a submission here. We got
the literal, like I said to you guys before the podcast, literally fighting to see who the next top 15 gatekeeper in the division is going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like ACG there too. ACJ, sorry.
All right, here we go. 2 prospects. Great fight.
Let's go.
Armin Sarukian going up against Nasrat Hakparast. We got an absolutely filthy striker in Hakparast. I really do think he's a phenomenal striker going up against Armin Sarukian, whose grappling is awesome and his striking isn't half bad too, man. The performance he had against Islam Makhachev in his debut was impressive, and he's been lights out ever since. What do you guys think? Who takes this one? Oh, big favorite, by the way, minus 286 for
Sarukian's going to beat the shit out of him.
I think it'll be close.
I for some reason I just don't think so. I think Saryukian is going to show everybody why he's that big of a favorite, and I think that's a rat line too, because people know, like, people are gonna. Even I for a second looked at that and I was like, why is Hakparast that big of an underdog? And I'm like, you know what, something's not right there. Saryukian's going to fuck him up.
Chris, thoughts?
I love this fight. I do think Sarukian's going to win as well. His style is just built for it. Like coming in on your UFC debut and fighting Islam Makhachev the way he did, and then winning both fights since is just so fucking impressive. And Hakparast kind of had, he had some big steam behind him. He was fighting on some big cards, some big places. And then he got his lights put out by Drew Dober. And I think he came back and he's won since. He beat the Team Alpha Male guy, right? Munoz, I think.
Yeah, Munoz, yep.
Yeah, got that win, got a win back. And I just think Sarukian is just, dude, he's only 24 years old. And he's only going to get fucking better and better and better. And he's going to be scary in the lightweight division. And I think he's just, a couple levels ahead. And I think he takes Hakparast out. I can totally see him getting a stoppage in this fight.
Yeah, I agree. I do think he wins. I just think that Nasrat, he's a specialist on the feet, and Sarukian's a specialist on the ground. And, you got to favor the grappler in this kind of matchup. We got Marina Rodriguez, big underdog as well, against Amanda Hebas. I think Dana White, UFC, everybody knows Hebas is the next big thing in terms of beauty. She's fucking gorgeous, and she can fight her fucking ass off. I think she destroys Rodriguez in any way she wants.
Me too. You want to see Dana White kill himself? Have Hebas and Conor McGregor lose on this card.
I'm surprised Hebas is only the pay-per-view opener. I think she should be third on the card.
Yeah, you think?
I agree.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I believe the hype, man. If you look at her significant strike differential with all her fights, man, she dominates all her wins, man.
Yeah,
so I really do think she's real deal. I got Atman Zaitar going up against Matt Steamroller Frivola. Frivola's been having some real bad luck getting in that cage with COVID bullshit. Always popping up those false positives.
Coaches, he can't catch a fucking break.
Can't catch a break, man. So, but I don't know. I think it's a close fight. I gotta lean at Zaitar, man. He's got power in his hands, and Frivola's a little chinny, man. You know, he does get clipped a lot, but in terms of heart and cardio, I give it to Frivola. So I'll lean at Zaitar, but I think Frivola's live.
Me too. I think I'm gonna go with Frivola. Actually, more of a fan pick than anything. I think Atsar, outside of his ridiculous power, just kind of stinks. He fades his fights going on, and Frivola, like Mike said, he's a little chinny, but you know he's always going to be there for all 3 rounds as long as he's standing. So, and I just want to see him get a win, man. He's one of those guys that really tried to get on this whole 2020 train, fight, and he just had no luck with COVID, and he never really got that opportunity to start getting in there as much as he wanted to. So, I'd like to see him start the new year with a win.
I have a couple hot takes on this. So Azatar thinks that he's going to come in and kind of just steamroll the steamroller. You know what I mean? Like that's like his fucking plan, basically. 13-0, and he looks great. He's 2-0 in the UFC. But to Frivola's credit, Frivola said that Azatar has fought no one, which I completely agree with. He has fought no one. You know, he's coming from that whole fucking what's his name? Ali's, Lee's his manager, and he's all getting all this hype. I even saw a video of him with Mike Tyson and shit. So he's getting really hyped up, but he has fought no one. Frivola, on the other hand, 8-1-1. In his last couple fights, he hasn't looked that great. I think he beat Luis Pena, but like we've been saying he's, I don't want to say it, but a fraud for a while now. A little iffy for sure. I think he went to a draw with Lando Venata, who I personally am a big fan of, but also skill level in the UFC, subpar. And before that, was it Polo Reyes? I think he got knocked out by. So it's just like his last stint has not been too hot. So I'm this is a toss up for me. I guess like Matt said, as a fan, I'm definitely rooting for Frivola. What's the line here? How wide is it?
Minus 155, Atman.
Yeah. Word. Yeah, I like Frivola as a dog there then.
Word. Not much to say here. Jessica Evil Eye, Joanne Calderwood. I don't care who wins this fight. If this got dropped, then, due to COVID or some bullshit, I wouldn't shed a tear. Like, I guess I'm just gonna root for Joanne because I just think Jessica Eye is just kind of a shitty person. But what do you guys think?
They have beef going into this fight, actually.
Good.
They both train at the PI, and Calderwood said that Jessica Eye walks around like the school bully, and everyone hates her fucking attitude. And Joanne Calderwood said she's lucky she gets to be the one to fucking punch her in her face. And to be honest with you, I just looked. Calderwood's minus 120, and I thought she would be a much bigger favorite. Jessica Eye just kind of seems to hang in there. She's obviously tough as fuck, and just does her thing. But I feel like Calderwood is just better. She kind of does fold when she shouldn't, Calderwood, so you can't really trust her. But I really do think that she's just better at everything than Jessica Eye.
I completely agree. You want to talk about, Mike said the phrase before, meat and potatoes. I don't think there's a better way to describe Jessica Eye. Like, really, what does she do besides plod forward and throw ones and twos and occasional hooks? Like, I don't think there's any substance to her game outside of her just being tough. Same thing for Calderwood, though. Not as much like Chris said. I think she's definitely better, but I just think, I don't know. There's a mean streak to Jessica Eye too that definitely plays in her favor, but there is beef here. I'm going to go Calderwood just because I fucking hate Jessica Eye, and I think she's definitely better. And I'm tired of watching Jessica Eye fight on pay-per-view main cards.
Word. All right, co-main event.
Woo! It's time, baby.
Before we talk about this one, I got a question for you guys. So why are people, let me finish the whole spiel real quick. Why are people sleeping on Chandler? Like, I don't want you to answer with, oh, he's coming over from Bellator, lesser competition. Oh, he's shorter. He's a little chinny. I want to know, like, literally nobody seems to be giving Michael Chandler a chance. Everywhere I look, it's hooker. I'll tell you right off the back, I'm picking Chandler to win, and I think he's going to win emphatically. He's going to open up a lot of eyes. I think Dana White knows what he's doing, putting him up against a guy that's legit, but also can be beaten. Let's not forget, Dan Hooker lost to, what the fuck is his name? Jason Knight, man. I mean, like, listen, Dan Hooker's a top guy, but He's 100% beatable. He's 20-9. I mean, like, he's great and all, but I think Chandler wins here, man. The more I think about it, the more confirmation bias I convince myself that he wins. What do you guys think? Why is he getting no love? Is basically
I think it's just because the casual fan doesn't understand that. I think they just have a negative opinion on Bellator. Like it's like the B leagues. And while in a certain sense that may be true, but there's a lot of legitimate fucking guys that come from that promotion and that fight in that promotion. And he's without a doubt one of them. You could rattle off people like off the top of my head that I would love to see in the UFC that I think that would either beat champions in the UFC or give them problems. And Michael Chandler, I don't think he's giving the current. Is there who's the champ? Who's the champ right now? Nobody, right? I mean, technically it's Khabib, but whatever. I think he's going to inject a lot more life into a 155-pound division that has so much of it already. It's already ridiculously fun, and you toss Michael Chandler into the mix. But, and Mike, I know what you're talking about because, it's Savs. Guys were saying the same thing. Everyone's all over Hooker. A lot of their rationale was they think that Chandler is going to have a hard time dealing with the USADA pool. And that's something that you could get away with in Bellator a little bit more, So, but I think I'm on Chandler here too. It's just so hard because you watch that fight with Dustin and Hooker, and it was so close. And that gives me so much respect for Hooker because I think the world of Dustin, and Dan was that close to knocking off a guy that's lost like twice in fucking 8 years. So, he's really, 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 really good, and he's grown a lot. I think he's grown really quickly. But Michael Chandler's a champion coming over here. I think that Dana White made the right matchup for him, and I think he's going to win.
I think so. Hear me out here. It's just the few things, Mike, like everything you said is really the reasons why people are counting out Michael Chandler. Also, the fact is, Michael Chandler's last few opponents, right? He got knocked out by Patricio Pitbull, rather. And since then, he's fought Sydney Outlaw, and who's, Sydney Outlaw, and Benson Henderson, who's, clearly over the hill from fighting Frankie Edgar in the UFC 150s for the fucking lightweight belt. He's beat guys like Brandon Gertz, who are they're tough as fucking nails. Like Brandon Gertz had a cut in his middle of his forehead from Michael Chandler that looked like he got shot in the fucking head with the BB gun. You know what I mean? Split, just tough as fuck, but that's really it. Just tough as fuck. Like guys like Emmanuel Sanchez are huge favorites over him as well. Gordy Yamaguchi, he beat, he knocked out Tricky Pitbull. So he's got some big wins, but then you go back and he lost a trilogy to Will Brooks. I'm dating myself now, obviously, but Dan Hooker has some suspect wins, but Michael Chandler has some suspect loss, or they both have some suspect losses on their record, basically. He's beat guys like Derek Campos, Dave Rickles, the caveman, and he's a 170er now. So, I mean, he is legit. He packs punches. He packs a big punch. He can wrestle his fucking ass off, Division I All-American wrestler. And he's training at Sanford MMA with, Sanford MMA, which is Henry Hoofs, has some of the best fighters in the world. He's training with those South Florida guys all the fucking time. Usman, up until, very recently, Gilbert Burns, Michael Johnson, just guys like that. Luke Rockhold's in there. So he's definitely Michael Chandler knows how he stacks up. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if he thought he couldn't hang in any way, even if he was 1% unsure of himself, he would have just re-signed a massive contract with Bellator. But he really wants to put his medal up against what the UFC has. And, I guess what Hooker's last two wins are Poirier and Felder, 2 5-round fucking wars. Neither one of them backed down. He looked excellent through 5 rounds. We know Michael Chandler could go 5 rounds. Maybe it's just a little bit of his age and recency bias. Like if you go, Hooker proved he could go 5 rounds with Poirier, right? So now it's like, can the Bellator guy come in and do the same? And we're going to fucking see. But I think win or lose, I think if he loses, his stock will go down a little bit just because he's like the new guy on the block. There's a lot of hype around him. But with that being said, even if he did somehow lose, as long as it's not like a brutal, like he got, the shit beat out of him in the first round, it's just, oh my God. You know what I mean? But I think no matter what, he fights again in the top 10 for his next fight. He has to.
Agree.
All right, main event. Good shit, boys. We made it. I got 5 questions for you that I want you guys to answer before we discuss who wins and how we all know we're on the same side, but let's hear. All right, here we go. We all saw the press conference, or at least highlights of it. What do you think of the cordial respect between Conor and Dustin at the press conference this time around? Chris, start with you.
So I like it. I honestly don't think they don't need to talk shit to each other. Like Conor said, he goes, all right. And I'll ask a question after this, but when Conor says, we both know what it is in there. Did you guys take that as, I'm better than you, or we both know what to expect? When they faced off and McGregor took his glass off, he goes, we both know what it is in there. Does that mean, was Conor trying to like big brother him in there? Which I think totally was. So like, it's definitely cordial respect, but these guys they're going to do their absolute best to take each other's head off. Like the whole thing, Conor coming up was building a name for himself. Now he's so established. Like he doesn't need to go out there and act a fool and, steal belts and fucking, you look at ESPN right now, all they're fucking talking about is him. So he's up there. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He's a genius. I'm not trying to suck his dick, but it's just true. He knows what the fuck he's doing. I don't need to see them talk shit to put on a banger. Like this fight's going to be awesome no matter what. He didn't talk shit to Cowboy either. He's super cordial towards Cowboy. Like he said, blood will be spilt, but it won't be bad blood. He went out there and took Cowboy out. And everyone was saying, Conor being calculated, like he's scared, but it's like, bro. And people putting stock into the stare downs. I put some stock into it, but like people were like, oh, Conor McGregor, him and Dustin were like looking away and stuff. They're both nervous. Like, bro, you know what I mean? They both, like Conor said, we both know what it is in there. So the cordialness, I think, is cool. Dustin said he's going to give Conor some hot sauce. Conor said he'll give him some proper 12. And what they're doing for charity, I mean, they basically forced the UFC's hand here. I'm sorry, I'm ranting, but they were both trying to get a big payday. When it didn't go off, Conor goes, I'll fly you to Ireland and we'll just spar for charity. And next thing you know, here they are, main event, UFC 257, biggest fight card of the year, first pay-per-view of the year. So I love it. To answer your question.
Matt, anything?
I just think it depends on the opponent, man. I think he actually does fully respect Dustin, but if he was fighting Nate Diaz or fucking Khabib, if you think he's not talking shit, you're crazy. I think that he realized that like, he did what he had to do to get here, right? Shit talked everybody, came in like a bat out of hell. Now I think that, and especially of course losing a couple times, whether it's to boxing or the way he lost to Khabib, whatever, losing humbles you. And Conor's not stupid because he knows we're not stupid. If he came in talking shit about Dustin, and we're looking at him like, dude, Dustin's literally cleaned out the division aside like one guy. Like, we wouldn't buy into that. So he knows better than to do it. The same thing with Cowboy. Cowboy doesn't have a bad thing to say about anybody. You can't shit talk that guy. Yeah. But if he's fighting Khabib or somebody, whoever's next, maybe Justin Gaethje, I think sparks will fly a little bit. They'll mince some words. I just think it's a actual genuine respect between them. But he says, make no mistake about it. You're done inside 60 seconds. I'm not going to tell you fuck your mother and fuck her mother and all these fuck yous, all this stuff and steal your belt like Chris said, but make no mistake. I'm still exactly who I am and I'm still going to get in there and big brother you.
And like Conor said in himself, they're both grown men now. They're both they were kids literally when they fought last time. Now they're both grown men. They both have wives. They both have kids. You know what I mean? So times change for sure.
Yep.
So I do think that Conor won the stare down based off what he said. I do think he was big brothering him a little bit. This was my second question. Now my question was, who do you think won the stare down? I just think that Conor said, you know what it is in there. Basically, like, you know what's going to happen in there. Playing that mental warfare. So I really enjoyed that. My third question: big cage versus small cage. Big cage is in Abu Dhabi. The smaller cage is in Apex Center. Do you think that benefits one or the other, or you think it's just whatever?
No, Conor's such a master of controlling distance and limiting his output to only necessary movements, necessary punches, necessary kicks, that I think no matter what size the cage is, he's going to do that exact same thing. He's going to control his distance. He's only going to throw when he feels need to, and he's not going to waste a lot of energy in there because, like Dominic Cruz once said a long time ago, Conor's style is very dangerous, but it also requires a lot of energy, and this is a 5-round fight. We've seen how Dustin last over 5 rounds. Dustin, don't get me wrong, he gasses a little bit, and some comes off the top of his punches, so it could get scrappy the longer the fight goes. But Dustin's not a Khabib type cardio machine, in my opinion. So I don't really see a cardio being a factor in this fight. But also I'm biased because I've said for the longest time, I think Conor's cardio issues are so fucking overblown. It's crazy. He gassed out years ago against Nate Diaz in a last second fight that he thought he was just going to mop this guy up, prime of his career, the whole nine. Like, he was in his own head. He's a different fighter now. And I definitely see, I didn't remember what the fucking question was. Chris, go ahead.
Big cage, small cage.
I don't think it makes a difference for either of them.
I agree. And I think that Yeah, basically, I agree. And the cardio issues, we're going to start that whole McGregor Fast program. And Kevin was just saying that they have 5 years worth of data now, and they have scientific, like he's not like, oh, I'm up here to say this because the coach is supposed to say it. Basically, like he's essentially saying, look, if you want to look at it on an Excel spreadsheet, his VO2 max is higher, his resting heart rate is lower. Like, you know what I mean? We have the number to show he is in significantly better shape. Here is the data. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even like a question at this point. But I'm not to sound like we're fucking all sucking them off over here, but
We are. It's okay. We are.
I think the UFC knows, like my coach said last night, jiu-jitsu, like they know what the fuck they're doing. And this is obvious, but he just reiterated it. Poirier looks like to be the most dangerous guy in the division, right? Like if right now, Conor McGregor aside and Khabib obviously aside, Poirier is the guy. You know what I mean? Him and I guess Charles Oliveira right now are the guys. I think that McGregor always will be the big brother to Poirier and has the upper hand on him. So if he goes in there against the guy and puts out the guy the way that Dana and the UFC hope he's going to, boom, he's back. And then I feel like they got to force Khabib's hand at that point. And before we go any further, I want to ask you that because I wrote that down right here. No Khabib. You see what Khabib said since leading into this? Khabib basically said, like, don't try to force my hand. Like, I don't want to disrespect my mom. So it's looking more and more like he's actually retired, which is what I said in our previous podcast. Listeners, go check it out. But I do think that he's going to stay retired. And I hope, you know what? Fuck it. I won't be mad at him if he does. Conor will be mad at him if he does, though.
I hope he stays retired. I'm so tired of watching him win.
I do think he stays retired as well. I just think that there's no reason for him to come back. I mean, Conor's going to be upset about it, but
And let's be real, he's going to beat Conor again. Like, what is that? I love Conor to death. Does anyone expect anything different? No, I just don't need to see it again. I lived through it once. I've had it. Done.
As much as I say, I know, trust me, I'm the number one advocate of saying I don't want to see that again, but I really would like to see that again. If Conor goes in there right now in this fight with Dustin and puts Dustin away, like if it looks, just hypothetically, looks exactly like it did the first time, and Conor really is, or if it goes like 4 rounds and Conor puts him away and keeps his cardio over 4 rounds and looks fucking excellent, I would want to see it again.
yeah.
You know, just getting taken down again and the same shit happening.
Hey, man, he put up, dude, if you look at Dustin's performance against Khabib, you look at Gaethje's performance against Khabib, Connor's performance was the best.
Javier Mendez,
I mean, Justin didn't even fucking show up.
Javier Mendez said before the Gaethje fight that Conor McGregor was always going to be Khabib's toughest challenge, and he was a huge step up from Gaethje before the fight. Javier Mendez said that.
Gaethje came in there and literally looked like he threw the last 3 years of development out the window and said, I'm going back to just waddling forward and throwing hooks.
Yeah, that was a really bad performance.
Bad. Really bad.
So, yeah, it's looking like no Khabib, but
It is what it is. Only time will tell. Okay, guys, I want you to predict the exact method of victory, exact round, exact time stoppage, just so when it happens, maybe one of us is super close or even spot on.
right.
I think, well, the over under is 2.5, with the under being like a -170. So I think it's going to be round 2 at the
I wrote a number down, so I'll show it to you if for some reason you say the same thing.
at 4 minutes and 36 seconds of the second round. So only 24 seconds into the second round, Connor's going to KO.
Oh, so at 24 seconds of the second round, you think? Yeah.
24 seconds into the second round.
I think I wrote down 2 minutes and 36 seconds into the second round. But that's the narrative going. See, that's what's scary is that's what the narrative going in is. Matt, you give your number, then I'm going to ask you guys a question. I want to see what you guys' take is.
Hold on. Under 60 seconds.
No, it's going to go over 60 seconds.
All right.
I'm doing 3 minutes, 46 seconds into the first round.
Okay. I love that.
Feeling out process, and I think Connor's just going to tag him shortly after.
Dustin is super fucking hittable, and that's the point here, right? Is that Connor's going to hit him and he's going to go away. We'll fucking see. Dustin's a dog, and here we go again. Just like Korean Zombie and Ortega, the narrative going in is this is just better. X is better than Y, you know, or is Y is A is better than B, whatever the fuck analogy you want to use. And it didn't play out that way. DraftKings, FanDuel, I see everyone giving out ridiculous odds, like McGregor getting 257 to 1 odds. So if you deposit, I think it's like a $20 max. But dude, if you put a deposit $10 on that, you know what I mean? You win $257, or what are you in? No way. Is it that?
No
257?
way. I don't think so.
Yeah, dude, I saw that yesterday online. But they probably there's some promotional shit behind, like you know how those fucking things suck you in. But now I see DraftKings is giving McGregor at even money, so I think they just want people to dump money on him. And when they give away shit like that, those are the people that lose, and that would be fucking devastating. You know what I mean? Like just to take your fucking money, you know?
Yeah.
But to me, Matt, you guys could speak on this better than me, and Mike, you too. If they're giving McGregor away, right? Hypothetically, money sways the line, right? So McGregor's minus 250. DraftKings is giving him away at plus 100. So obviously money is going to pour in on that. Why doesn't the line change from minus?
Oh, I actually have an answer for that, like an actual answer. And this is because remember I told you I was when I was interviewing with BetMGM and William Hill over the fall, I actually asked this exact question, not pertaining to Conor, but the answer was that those odds that they put out have nothing to do with the odds makers and the lines that odds makers make. This is strictly their marketing team's budget because they know that there's a high likelihood that it hits. So you're given a budget of $10 million for whatever. You have to factor the people's winnings are factored into that number. So how much is spent on this promotion? It's literally just that one company's promotion. Thus, it doesn't correlate to driving a line because it's a made up line.
Right.
So, okay. So then to my question, doesn't that say that Conor's going to lose then?
No. Okay. Well, here's what I have another thing. So they do promotional shit for all kinds of sports. So for example, they had a promotion a couple of weeks ago for like Kansas City 25 to win 25. It's plus 100 and the spread was like plus 76. Yeah. Right. So that means that the Kansas City Chiefs would have to lose by 76 points for you to lose, right, which is impossible. Right. So like they know it's going to hit. So like, I really do think it's just a promotional.
It is. It's solely to get people
in. And then you lose all your fucking money.
Legitimately, exactly. I talked to the guy that makes these promotions for BetMGM. And he said, we literally just do this to get people in the door. And then that next week, we're spamming your email with similar shit.
And they lose it all.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Good for them. So let's go, Conor.
Right. Dude, I really don't think that I don't think that has anything to do with the line or the outcome. I really do. I'm so fucking confident for the past 3 months that Conor is going to destroy Dustin regardless, man. Because like when I placed my first bet on Conor December 2nd, and he was a minus 235, and now he's a minus 315. So when the line is gradually, consistently moving up like that, it makes me think that they think that he's going to win. It's not like it stayed at minus 235. Right. It consistently and gradually made its way to minus 315. It's when it stays at that number like it did with the Korean Zombie. It stayed at minus 190 the entire time from the get-go all the way to the fight. That's what's sketchy.
What's sketchy to me, though, I know we're ranting about this, is I'm pulling out my DraftKings right now to show you guys something, is that McGregor, usually like McGregor has more fucking haters than fans at this point. Literally, everyone loves,
they're dumping that shit on Poirier.
But
haters.
Right. But I feel like everyone I talked to, not one, like our group chat, Matt, not one fucking person has said, oh, like usually Sam, I'm betting on Khabib, like just to be a hater. And because, he fucking won. But, I'm betting on Cowboy, head kick. I could feel it. Like shit like that always happens in our group chat right now. All of our friends, over under 2.5. What should I bet on? Under or like, it's just like a foregone conclusion that McGregor's going to win. And I hate that narrative for my own self going in. I would almost rather the narrative going in, which I know would never happen, McGregor being the underdog but like that would never happen because even against Khabib, he was a sizable underdog. And my casual fans just assume like, oh, Conor McGregor's fighting. Who's the sacrificial lamb? You know what I mean? Like they just think that he's like the Terminator and he's going to go in there and beat the shit out of these people. But it's just, I don't know. I could talk about this forever, and I will on Saturday when I'm with you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the line did get fucking steamed pretty high. It's over 300.
No way.
Yeah, he's minus 315.
The line got steamed. It's fucking crazy.
That also leads me to believe that the bookies are like, yeah, we'll just keep driving this price up so that Poirier becomes more appealing. You know what I'm saying? They want people to bet on Poirier.
Right. Or lay the chalk on McGregor, obviously.
Or lay the chalk.
So, and here's my thing. Ready for this? I did this when I was hammered a few weeks ago. I lost all my money in draft, or I bet all my money in DraftKings. It was active, and I ended up losing thanks to Matt because I bet all over fucking Clemson. But I put in a 2-pick parlay, which is still live. But Dustin would need to win. But I did it just to throw him. I told you guys, I always bet against McGregor somehow in a small way. So that if I won really big, my heart would only be 99% broken instead of 100% broken.
Makes sense.
Obviously, I want to lose this bet. But I bet Dustin Poirier straight up, and I bet Wonder Boy to beat Jeff Neal by decision.
Wow.
So that pays out $3, pays out 50. So
That's just solid, dude. That's solid.
You know, it's just fun, but hopefully I fucking lose $3.
Never wanted to lose $3 more in my life.
Literally never. But if you guys don't have anything else, I'm just going to run off a few things that I want to mention because this podcast is called MMA Gossip, not Conor McGregor Gossip, even though that's all anyone gives a fuck about. But just to run off my list here, a few notable things that the MMA world, boxing world need to touch on, things I care about. So I want you to and our listeners to care about. Sergey Kovalev, test positive for steroids. All of these motherfuckers are on steroids. Talking about all these motherfuckers being on steroids, Nick Diaz, the UFC, USADA and the UFC now, marijuana is not a suspendable substance. So we're just waiting on NSAC, really, Nevada State Athletic Commission, to just pass that, which honestly at this point is just a matter of time. Fedor is recovering currently in a Russian hospital, got COVID, beating it like the fucking dude. You think Fedor was going to die of COVID? COVID would die from Fedor. You know what I mean? Like literally no fucking chance. Well, Jake Paul's got a fight set for April 17th. Opponent to be disclosed. Also, I thought was pretty funny in a McGregor interview. They asked him what he thought about Jake Paul fighting, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, honestly, like, I feel bad, the little kid, like, calling, you know what I mean? Just sunning him, calling him a little kid. And he goes, but props to him. He got the Floyd Mayweather fight. So blah, blah, blah. But that's Logan Paul. Like, McGregor literally doesn't know who the fuck these idiots are. You know what I mean? So it's like more, that was almost, he probably honestly, knowing him, did that on purpose. You know what I mean? And he knows what the fuck he's doing. And Canelo Alvarez got a fucking fight booked. I know we touched on Adrian Broner as well, the 13th. Canelo Alvarez is fighting on February 27th. He likes to do that. He's similar to that, with Conor in that fashion, where he likes to get the fight booked quick, do the promotions quick, get the fight over with. You know what I mean? Get in, get out, get rich. So those are a few things I wanted to touch on. Other than that, Khabib out, we already spoke on. Conor's cordiality, is that a word? Conor being cordial. Yeah, some big boxing matches, though, in the pipeline, and no one's fucking talking about them. I will be tuned the fuck in for the Canelo Alvarez fight and the Robert Easter Jr. fight and Adrian Broner fight. Probably fucking the Jake Paul fight, unfortunately, depending on who he fights. I wonder who he's going to fight at this point. Another idiot, that's for sure. Some idiot. He's going to beat the shit out of some idiot. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, boys. It is what it is. But if you're still listening to us somehow, drop us a like, comment down below, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter or Instagram at MMAXGossip. Shoot us an email, comment, tell me I'm ugly. You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck it is, just everything helps. Every little bit helps.
Go Conor.
That's it. See you next time. Enjoy the fights on Saturday. Put the house on Conor. We won't regret.
Matt, send us off, Matt. One final statement.
One final statement. Sorry, Dustin. We're rooting against you on this one. I hope you die in the fucking cage.
That's awesome. See y'all next time.
Oh, shit.